I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 352nd episode of the Political Spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you absolutely. We have had one crazy busy last 24 hours. I just cannot tell you how crazy the last 24 hours have been. You'd think that normally right here around Christmas time, it kind of smooths out and everything's like kind of far and few between. But I'm telling you what, we've had a banging last couple of hours. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. We have some amazing content to bring you this evening of the political nature. We're going to give you some commentary. We're going to give you some topics, some points of interest. We're going to give you a couple of really interesting factoids about what's going on in a couple of the bigger communities here in East Central Indiana. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on two different communities. We're going to focus just right here at the beginning of the show, just a small little pinch on Muncie. And I'm going to talk to you all about a pretty big, kind of a pretty big happening that occurred today. We have had a development in a story that I've been talking about for the last month. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of a hint. I'm going to give you guys a teaser and let you see inside of it a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you, if you want to hear more on it, you're going to have to come back tomorrow night. I hate doing that. I normally don't like doing that. I like to just give it all out. But we have planned for the last several days, really about since the last time she was on, we had planned that she would be on tonight because the Madison County government held a special election board meeting today at 1 p.m. It was originally supposed to be at 9 a.m., but they didn't get it in time. We'll talk about all of that. And this was the election board meeting where the election board was going to hear the complaint that our good friend and contributing correspondent Katherine Callahan had filed against the dirtbag Russ Willis. And so they were actually going to hear it today after like 4.5 months. So we got to talk about that, and that's going to be the primary target of tonight's show. So for those of you from Madison County, if you're here, hang out. We're going to get to it. I promise you. If you know people that live in Madison County, if you know people that live in Muncie, this is an episode that you're going to want to share to them. If you want to follow us on all of our socials and do all of that, you can find us on our socials right down there at the bottom of the screen. The Political Spotlight. We are on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Facebook. We are on Twitter or X. You can find us there. We're also on TikTok. I didn't put the TikTok on. It is what it is. So you'll just have to follow us there. There's the studio number and the email, so you can get a hold of us if you need to get a hold of us. I would like to ask you to please consider giving us a like, pushing the beep and hitting the boop and doing all of those things. Do all of the things that you're supposed to do on social media. Subscribing to the channel might be nice if you have not subscribed, but give us a like. Give us a like, hit the thumb, give us the finger, and let us know you love us. And we're on time tonight. A lot of you, I know you're giving me a bunch of crap because we're on time and we're not running behind. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this before it gets any later here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so let me see. I think I did the wrong thing there. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I was looking there. I had a little bit of an issue. Okay, before we get any further along, I want to let you know, for those people in Muncie, all right, we're going to get to the Madison County stuff. We're going to bring on contributing correspondent Katherine Callahan in just a moment, and we're going to get heavy into the election board stuff. But I've got to tell everybody, the contract does exist. The contract does exist. For everyone that has been following my back and forth with the city of Muncie and with Dan Ridenour since the 22nd of last month when Dustin resigned, and I've been sending out a bunch of emails. I think today was like day 8 of the emails. Well, for everyone that's been following that, waiting on this. Now, I don't know how many of you watched the Board of Works meeting from today. We're not going to watch the entire Board of Works meeting. The meeting was 14 minutes long. If you want to watch that meeting, you can go back and you can watch it. You can find it on the city's communications page. You can also find it on the City of Muncie's YouTube page. But what I want to let you know, for those that did not watch that meeting today, I do want to just show you a few moments of that meeting, just a brief slice of the meeting, and let you hear something. So this was the meeting this morning at 9 a.m. here in Muncie, and I want you to hear what we're going to hear right here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this is Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour appearing before the Board of Works. And for those of you that maybe are new to this, the Board of Works are 3 members that are appointed by the mayor. So these are mayoral appointments. They are beholden to the mayor. All right. This is Dan Ridenour, Muncie mayor, standing before his appointed 3-member Board of Works. And I want you to listen to what he's bringing before them.
Dropped off to you 2 things. The first one is a public works professional service agreement. This is with Hoosier Municipal Operations. It's primarily for grant work.
Hoosier, listen to what he said there again, okay? This is really, really, really important that people understand what he said. All right, he dropped off a contract to the Board of Works for a professional services contract. And this professional services contract is between the city of Muncie and a business called Hoosier Municipal Operations. Okay? Now, notice that Dan says Hoosier Municipal Operations. Okay, and listen to what else he says here.
Really for grant work. We already have them on some Department of Transportation with Hoosier Municipal Operations. It's primarily for grant work. We already have them on some Department of Transportation work. I will need, it just lists the hourly rates, and it's our standard agreement.
Okay.
But I would like for you to take some action, and then I think I need the president's signature in the end.
So you do have the hourly billing rates available there. Okay.
Yep. So just wanted to.
Okay. So
I'm going to be doing that, Ron.
Do we have a motion for this?
Yes. I move approval of the Public Works Professional Service Contract with Dustin Clark.
Oh, hey, whoa, hey, I think Linda didn't get the memo here. We're not saying that name around here. We're not saying the name Dustin Clark. We don't want anybody to know. It's Hoosier Municipal Operations. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So Linda just let the cat out of the bag. All right. Now listen here.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you very
Oh,
much.
all those in favor,
And
say
I'll
aye. Aye.
make sure this gets signed.
No questions. No. Wait a minute. Why is this guy working here now as a contract employee? Why did he quit? You notice they didn't say how much he was making. You notice they didn't say anything about that. You notice Dan didn't say anything about that. You notice your mayor. For all of you out there that say this man is the answer to all, the end all be all, this is the man that was riding in on a white horse, and he was riding in with white panties on, and he was coming in to make us all white and happy and nice. If you notice that, he didn't say Dustin Clark's name anywhere. The man who promised communication would be improved, the man who promised transparency would be improved, the man who promised that accountability would be improved didn't say a damn thing about Dustin Clark. Now, why is that? All right, the last little bit right here that I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to give you a little taste, and then we're going to bring on our guest here to get into Madison County, and that is this, ladies and gentlemen, officially in my hand currently. And you're not getting to see it like real kind of big up close. Tomorrow we'll have it to where you can all read it. Tomorrow I'm going to publish it so you guys can all see it everywhere. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the 10-page contract. Wow, 10 pages. There must be a lot of good information here. Well, let me tell you, the one little tease I'm going to give you guys all tonight is, first of all, this is a generic contract. This is not a contract that the city of Muncie and Dustin Clark had their mutual attorneys work on. This is a generic contract that, say, for example, you wanted to go and clean the cigarettes out of the cigarette ashtrays, or some little kid wanted to go and do something, wanted to enter into some kind of one-off contract. They would give you this. You would enter this. They would take it for you to get it. Be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This is normally 13 pages. There's only 10 pages to Dustin's, and they have cut stuff from it. What have they cut from it? Well, my friends, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow night on Thursday to find out what they cut from it. But I'm here to tell you, just really quickly, up close here and personal, this is the city of Muncie entering into a contract on an interesting date. They're entering into this contract on the 30th day of October 2024. Well, why is that curious? Well, because on the 30th of October 2024, there was no word of this. Dustin was a full-time employee. They didn't even announce it until the 15th or the 20th that he was going to resign and do this. Now, I heard about it on the 6th, on the 5th. The night of the election, I heard Dustin was quitting and this was coming into play. All right, the 5th of November, what's that? 6 days after the 30th. So I heard about it pretty quickly there. All right. But we didn't bring it out until we heard more, and it really came to be towards the end of November. So is this backdated? I can tell you beyond all certainty, I know for a fact that the city of Muncie backdated this contract. That is a problem right there in and of itself. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Dustin Clark, he is doing business as Hoosier Municipal Operations. What's Hoosier Municipal Operations? Well, my friends, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow to hear more about that. But we've got a lot to talk about concerning that. It is a problem. All right. So we go on down here really quickly. He talks about the scope of service. All right. It covers the scope of service. Interesting. Here on the second page, this is probably most important to most people. It talks about his billed hourly rates. Now, I want to look all of you in the eyes right here. I'm going to take this down just for a second. I'm going to look all of you in the eyes. All of you assholes out there that work for Dan Ridenour, or you stand in line to tell him how pretty and how right and how beautiful he is and how wonderful he is, that were calling me a liar, that was telling me that I was wrong, that was telling me that I was slandering all of these people and I need to get my shit straight before I talk about it. Let me be sure that you are aware. Christopher Bilbrey only speaks the truth because...
Well, technically you're wrong.
Well, yeah, well...
Technically you're wrong.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. I guess she is right. She is right because I said that he was making $125 an hour.
And he is.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah, right. He is sometimes.
And other times he's making how much an hour?
Well, other times he's making only $100 an hour. Is that what you mean? So there are sometimes he's making 100.
Yeah. Okay. And other times he's making.
Well, 60.
Okay. Or
30.
Or.
Oh, you mean those times that he's making $150?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think those are the ones you were talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that seems to be more concerning. Because what I want to know is, I want to know how many hours is this fool going to write down that he's working $30 an hour? I bet it's not many.
Two.
2
a year.
Yeah, I bet it's going to be very minimal. But 125, 150, because $125 an hour, let's just say he worked at 40 hours for $125 an hour. That's $250,000 a year.
260.
260,000. Sorry, my mouth wasn't mouthing. 260,000 a year. Now, keep in mind, the mayor of Muncie only makes $78,000 a year. So who is this guy to Dan that Dan is willing to pay him, $260,000 a year or more?
Rhonda.
I bet he works 37 hours a day. Right. That is very good. Yeah, right. We'll have to contact the State Board of Accounts to find out. So, yeah, this is all here. There's a lot of weird shit here.
Would you like to know what he would be making at the 150 rate a year?
Yeah, let's just say
312,000.
312,000.
Yeah.
So then do this.
Okay.
What is it? What is the total number of hours worked a year?
Well, 40 hours a week times 52 weeks a year is 2,080 hours.
Okay, so let's just say he works 2,000 hours at 125.
Okay.
All right, what's that?
250.
Okay, and now let's say he works 80 hours at 150.
Okay. 80 is another 12,000.
Another $12,000?
Mm-hmm.
For real. So that's 262. So, I mean, look, this dude is gonna be pulling down some serious cash, doing God knows what.
I'm including that he's probably going to get paid vacation hours. Catherine, she's over here correcting me. 20,040.
Well,
Sorry.
look, here's the deal. I don't
He'll
know
get
what
paid
the deal-
vacation.
I don't have any clue what's going to happen here. I mean, this is crazy. You know, the other thing, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow. We're getting ready to bring Katherine on. I know she's chomping at the bit, but I want to show you this just really quickly here, where as we zoom through this and you guys see the rest of this, there's an interesting part right here. Article 7 says conflict of interest. What's interesting to me is conflict of interest 7.1. These are the definitions. City employee means a city employee, a special city employee, an appointee or city officer or agent. 7.2, the consultant covenants that it has nor will have a direct or indirect financial interest by way of an interested party in any other contract connected or associated with this contract. The consultant further represents that it warrants that no city employee who is an interested party of the consultant as a sole proprietor or who serves as an officer, director, trustee, partner, or employer of the consultant as a legal business entity participated in any decision or vote of any kind in the award of this contract. As such, by the execution of this contract, the consultant representative warrants in the result in this contract does not and will not create a conflict of interest under The bottom line is, I think with 7.1 being in there, this is the number one reason why Dustin quit working at City Hall. And now it makes perfect sense to me why the administration wanted the council to hold off for 1 month in bringing the code of ethics to a vote, because that meant Dustin would be able to resign. And then, ladies and gentlemen, he would be clear. Everything would be good. He could now make shit tons of money, and the city and Dan and Dustin would be okay. Now, is it legal? Sure, it passes the sniff test. It just barely gets over that line. Is it moral? Do we like it? Is it at the ceiling? Hell no, it's not. And listen, this is really bad on Dan. Who is Dustin that Dan continues to get himself in these predicaments? We're going to talk about all of that. There's a point in here that says that this makes null and void any other contracts that the contractor is a part of. So, Jackie, you ask about Greenlight Resources. While Greenlight Resources was absolutely 1,000% Dustin, and we proved it was Dustin, this would be a problem because Dustin couldn't work at one and have this, but and he did work at one because he was cashing the checks that Greenlight Resources was being paid. However, this nullifies all other contracts that Dustin has. So it does say that. So it does clear that up. So Greenlight Resources is no more. We're going to get into all of that tomorrow. We're going to talk about all of this. I'm going to publish this either tonight or tomorrow and put a little blurb on Facebook so you guys can all see it. I'll put it on Twitter, and I'll also, it'll be there. But if you want to learn more about this, we're going to go through this tomorrow with a fine-tooth comb. Matter of fact, we have a couple different records we're going to go through, and we've got all kinds of interesting information coming from the city of Muncie. And I'm telling you, it's going to be like a Christmas present, an early Christmas present from me to you. You are not going to want to miss that episode. The city is in some big hot water all the way around, and we're going to talk about it all tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow, and we'll get more in depth with all of this. I'll put up all the pictures so you guys can see it. Everything will be there. The last thing I'm going to say, and give your brain some thought on this. You notice the front page of the contract said October 30th. Well, down here on the signatures, the president of the Muncie Board of Works, of course, signed it today, December 18th, 2024. Dan Ridenour signed it December 30th, 2024. Although I know for a fact that he did not sign it on October 30th, 2024. I know that for a fact. Listen to me. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I would go in and swear on a Bible before a court, before a judge, before the president, before God and country and all of you, Dan Ridenour backdated that. Now, is that wrong or illegal? I guess not technically, but it sure doesn't look good. I'll take you one step further. I am pretty certain, I'm pretty certain that Dan signed this on or around sometime in the since December 1st. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, Dustin Clark did not sign that on November 18th. The only date that is factual on this entire document is Ted Baker's. Every other date that appears in this legal binding contract is bullshit. So we'll talk tomorrow about how legal this is, since all the basic factual information that makes it pertinent and legal. We'll talk about how legal it is. It's complete bullshit. Tune in tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let her put her phone down, fix her hair, and get her shit together and act like she's ready to go on TV here. We are going to bring on, I don't know, I was just making all that stuff up. She's probably sitting there ready to rock and roll. Matter of fact, she thinks she's been on air. She's been talking this whole time. Let's bring her up, Katherine Callahan.
Listen, I had to go get a snack. You were talking for so long.
I went so long, you had to go get a snack.
Oh, I had to go get a snack. And these
what
are
are you
the
eating?
best. Not that they're paying for our stuff, but these are really good, you guys.
They could pay for us.
They got probiotics.
Yeah.
They're little yogis.
Well, that's good. So
I'm not really sure where to start, but I got
a
some
long time ago, 4 months ago, you filed a complaint.
on August 7th.
Yeah.
So I sent some things in Messenger. I just want to quickly talk about some of these things.
Wait a minute. Tell people what we're talking about first. Why am I talking to you right now?
So if you weren't tuning in today, finally, it was heard. Oh, hi, Jamie. Finally, it was heard. My complaint with Russ Willis and his financials. Russ Willis does not itemize his financials of what he's taking in from the community.
Okay, so back up just to lay a little bit of foundation here. Okay, so when people run for office, they have to do paperwork, legal paperwork that tells how much money, like when Katherine ran for auditor, if I ran for mayor, if I ran for commissioner, if I run for president, if I run for, town dog catcher, you have to file paperwork a couple times a year, and it's your campaign finance information, and it says how much money you pay out on any of your campaign material, your shirts, your signs, your radio advertisement, TV advertisement, newspaper stuff. Do you have any campaign fundraisers? Do you pay for food? And it also tells you how much money you pull in. And there are laws that dictate how much money you can pull in, how much money someone can give. And basically, just for everyone's understanding, if you go to a campaign event and you're there, say you're a friend of mine and I just drag you along and you don't know who the person is, you don't care, and you're there and we're eating some chili at this chili luncheon or whatever, and you like the chili, and you throw in a $5 bill in the basket, you don't have to give your name, and they don't have to say, well, John Doe, Bilbrey's friend, gave me this $5. Anything under $99 or under does not have to be itemized. You can just say, hey, I got all this $99 here, 99, 80, 60 here, 40 here, 30 here, 10 here, and you can just add that up and put it in. But if Katherine Callahan, the big spender that she is, if she goes with me and she gives Ryan Webb $250 at a golf outing, Ryan Webb has to itemize that Katherine Callahan gave him $250. And then those documents, they've got to be filed at a special time, and they're open to the public. And this way, we in political watchdog groups, media, journalists. I'm not a journalist, but people that are. I do say that I am in the bigger group of media, political commentators, citizens. Anyone can go get these records and see who is funding these people. And that way, if an elected official is getting a little close with a contractor after they're all elected, we could be like, hey, wait a minute. This person gave $10,000 to this person's, you can see, and it keeps people honest. Well, so you started doing some looking back during the primary and whatnot.
Let's just make everybody clear.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who've been watching me knew that I ran for the auditor seat. And about 48 hours before the election of the primary, somebody ran a flyer about me full of lies.
Yes.
Well, what did that spark? That sparked, you just poked the bear and she's coming to look for you.
Yep.
And she's looking for everybody who donated to the Lincoln Club. And so it was the Lincoln Club who put out this false flyer about myself. There was no apology. Now, like Chris says, politics is a blood sport. So I took this crazy flyer that went out. And when we were done, I came back and I started looking through financials. Now, my good friend Sean and my good friend Rebecca decided that they would also help on this journey. And in that came Nicole and Bree and Jamie and so many other people who were so disgusted with this flyer that it became a larger and larger group. See, the great thing the swamp does is the more they put out and they go after people, the more people are starting to bond together and say no more.
Right.
Madison County is watching. However they vote, if they cannot do the right thing and find Russ Willis has committed a violation and they are referring this on, or if they say, no, we're going to let this pass, then we're going to have a huge problem if they let Russ get away with this.
Absolutely.
So a couple things, Madison County, that I want to look back.
Wait, hold on real quick. So, this is just important because I think you got right to it, but you dropped. So you guys found that he basically, the Lincoln Club, which is a political action committee, which has to file this paperwork the exact same. Basically, when you looked at their documentation, you looked at it, I looked at it, a bunch of people looked at it, and they said, yep, it looks like he's not doing the right thing here. See, there's Indiana code, there's law that dictates how this document's to be filled out, and it's very clear. And one thing that I will say for Russ is a bad guy, but he's not a dumb guy. Russ is not dumb, he's just bad. Russ has been involved in politics long enough that he knows how to do this. Russ knows how to do this. Russ is good at helping people with this that he wants to help. He's good at hurting people if he doesn't like them. It's like when Kate and I tell people, hey, if you're running, don't do your shit and get in trouble. Get in contact with us. We can help you. The one thing, whether you like me or not, I've been doing this long enough. I've been involved in politics long enough that I know the ins and the outs and the rights and the wrongs and the do's and the don'ts. So does Russ Willis. I would consider Russ Willis and your attorney, Laureen White, which was phenomenal today. You guys were both phenomenal. She made this point, and she's extremely correct. Russ Willis would be, in a court of law, because of his knowledge and experience, considered an expert in and among local politics. And so for the fact that he says, oh, I just didn't know, is complete bullshit. But he did this document wrong. He signed his name to it. The treasurer, who's a state trooper, Anthony Emery, he signed his name to it. And there's laws that say if you do this and you do it wrong, that it could be a felony, should be a felony. So back in August, you filed a complaint, and it should have been heard in August. It should have been heard in September, maybe October, but it's taken 4 months. Finally, though, they decided to hear this. So today they held a hearing, and that's what happened today. So now we're up to
the
speed.
funny thing is it was supposed to be at 9 o'clock this morning, but they realized they missed the 9 o'clock cutoff to tell me, and they knew I was going to call them on.
Yeah.
So then they had to move it to 1 o'clock.
That's beautiful.
So, I mean, at least they're getting the memo, like you need to follow some order. But I
Yeah.
want to, I want to start. If you look in Messenger, Chris, on messengers, I just want people to look at the very bottom of this picture that I just sent Kristopher.
Okay.
And you know, I just find this very interesting. Somebody just messaged me a short time ago, and I want to read this part. It's
Oh
not
yeah, this is good.
right. So I just want to say, this other person. Okay, this is how I want to start this show. This is something that Russ Willis emailed about me, about a caucus. I really don't care about anything that's above there. What I want to talk about, this went out to all the precinct members in Madison County. Again, I deal in facts, not half truths, lies, and personal attacks. Well, let me tell you something. That was Indiana State Code today. That
Yeah.
was facts. We're dealing in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
This.
should have owned that,
Yeah.
but he didn't own it, and he came in with, I don't know. Well, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. If Russ was Pinocchio, he wouldn't be able to get out any door. He
Yeah.
is a liar,
Yeah.
and he will do anything to sell his soul. This is what one of the people said to me. Katherine, I watched the election board meeting things just now. You weren't effing around, were you? Also, Russ Willis sounded a lot taller when I hear you talk about him. It was like you reached in your pocket and pulled him out when it was his turn to talk today. He's a cute little guy. I've never seen him before. Was he standing on some phone books to reach the mic? Because he certainly couldn't tell the truth. I mean, if you watch the man's body language, if
Yeah.
you know, people are like, oh, well, it was very humble today. Well,
Oh,
are you thinking he's wanting the sympathy card? Are you thinking that he's this honest person? I mean, my video already has 100 and some shares. It
What?
has, and I have not read all the comments. When I shut the video off, it had like 40 comments. It's got like 130
Catherine,
comments. It's got almost 4,000 views. And
if
that
I
doesn't-
told you that you were facing a felony, a possible felony, you're not charged with it, you're not going to be guilty, but you've done something, and you're going to go in front of some people tomorrow who are going to decide that you might possibly be going down the rabbit hole of a felony, would you show up with your thumb up your ass? Or what? Like, would you maybe bring an attorney or have some information? Like, you know, if someone tells you you're looking at
wait
a
a
felony.
minute here. That's only for people who believe they've done something wrong.
Yes, right.
Okay. Now listen, he is on the verge of insanity
Yeah.
because he does not believe he's done anything wrong. He doesn't believe that anything he does is touchable. I mean, for heaven's sakes, look at him. He's in trouble for canvassing. It has been referred on to the state police. Nobody's arrested him. Nobody's done a warrant for him. He was able to go through the general election without any oversight. He was up in the rooms. I mean, what I mean, I kind of understand the guy. The guy literally believes he's untouchable.
I disagree with your first statement. I agree with your second statement. I don't believe he thinks he does nothing wrong. Listen, that's not possible. Russ knows what he did. Russ knows you have him over a barrel. Russ knows he was wrong. Russ just thinks that he is untouchable.
Exactly. He thinks he has bought and paid. So I'm going to tell something here. I went upstairs following the conclusion of the meeting. And
Today's
I pulled
meeting?
all of Russ's financials.
Okay.
Now, at first, Linda wasn't going to let us see it because nobody's there. No. I am going to sit here until I see those. While I'm up there sitting and waiting, up comes Russ, has his own code and key to get into the voters' registration area. Walks right in there, right after the thing, sitting over there with Lloyd Brown, talking. I mean, I've got it all on video. Lloyd just starts waving at me like it's nothing. Then they realize I'm videoing. So then they go in the back and they have a discussion. But I wanted to get up there right away because I didn't want any of the files to be destroyed. So I went right up there, and sure enough, I think it goes back to about 2008. Well, while I'm looking in through his stuff, generally he does just put in an amount, and that's just what it is. But there are times where he doesn't. Like he puts in a $200 thing for the Lincoln Club or whatnot. So as I looked through all of his material and gathered all that, I asked to see Rodney Cummings, the prosecutor's file, and Andrew Hanna's.
Okay. These
Now,
are
people find-
attorneys. They're
They're both attorneys.
prosecutors.
They're the prosecutors in the county. And they always say to me, now, Katherine, if you find something, you bring it to us, we'll check it out. Well, I'm going to bring this further. If this election board is so reckless that they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face, I'm going to go wherever I've got to go. So I pulled their records because everybody knows that Andrew Hanna's had a lot of golf outings during office hours. Monday through Friday, he has these golf outings. Why they don't have it on a Saturday, why they don't have it on a Sunday, I have no idea. Okay. But they choose to do this all the time, Monday through Friday. So I pull their records. Neither one of them have ever put down a lump sum of money. They're all itemized.
Sure.
Andrew does not have something that says golf outing, I got this much money. Well, let me tell you somebody who's got a big old feast of money sitting in their pot that we looked at in the primary. Todd Culp. Todd Culp raised $17,000 at a fish fry. Let me tell you something. If I'm raising that much at a fish fry, I'm going to have a lot of fish fries. Everybody in this county is going to have fish fries. So all the election board did today was open a whole new can of worms for a lot more candidates. This really shouldn't be my responsibility to do. This should be the responsibility of the clerk.
Well,
And,
I'll
I
back
kind
up.
of want to let everybody know to start this off that Russ only deals in facts.
Yeah.
Well, finding
Put
the
this
facts
back
are
up there.
pretty clear.
Yeah, this is Russ. This is Russ's words. Again, I deal in facts, not half truths, lies, and personal attacks. See you soon, Russ.
And that was for the caucus. Now
I think it changed his mind.
I just sent you my Facebook post. If you pull that up,
Okay.
and I just want to look at these pictures real quick. For some of you, if you're not following along on what's happening in Madison County, because I know some of you are coming from other areas, please do go look at this post. It's the whole finding of the facts that we put together. And it has pictures of the docket.
Now, really quickly, I do want to clarify one thing that you said here, just briefly. So, at the end of every election cycle, the election board is supposed to come together, and the election board is made up of the elected clerk, whatever party the elected clerk is, which that's Linda Smith in Madison County. In Delaware County, it's Rick Spangler, okay? And then it's made up of a Republican representative and a Democrat representative, okay? That can be anybody that the party puts in place or the party chair. The Republican nominee or the Republican person on the board is Russ Willis. I don't think that should be. I think he should put somebody there, but it's Russ. And then the Democrat is normally Tim Lannon. And so they're the board. Now, at the end of every election, they are supposed to have a period where they pull in all of the campaign finance reports and go through them. They're supposed to go page by page. And this board is assigned with saying, wait a minute, this candidate didn't turn theirs in on time. We're going to fine them, or we're going to rule some way. Or these people didn't do it the right way. We're going to make a ruling here. The board sees all these and supposed to go through page by page. If they're not doing that, they are doing things in the wrong. I'm telling you.
They're not doing it. And you know why? Linda Smith point blank said it on the video. I just got done with the presidential election. I ain't got time for this. Well, that ended several weeks ago. She has plenty of staff. There's no reason why this hasn't gone through.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely nuts. Yeah, she was way out of line today. She was an idiot.
So this is with the copy part there. This
Yeah.
is the actual filing. This was today's
So
thing.
here was the announcement. Here's Katherine's filing from August. You can see she filed it on August 7th at 3:29 p.m. on August 7th, 2024 at 3:29 p.m. And this is her filing. And you can see that it's very well laid out here. Going to just keep going through this, or what?
Yeah, just showing people that you can go if you want to read all the findings of facts. All the Indiana state codes are documented in this. It's not like I turned something in and told them to go. I don't know what more I could have done. I mean, wrapped it in a bow and sat it in front of them. I don't know. But what came to light today, not one person has looked at this.
No. So that's the thing. I want to say from an observer's point of view, I watched this, and having been a law enforcement officer and worked in the prosecutor's office, I've sat through a lot of court proceedings. I've listened to a lot of attorneys, and I've got to say, Katherine and Lorraine, they make one hell of a team. Lorraine I am just completely all kinds of impressed with her. I have been, I think that she needs to be the de facto attorney for the show. She is a badass, politically, constitutionally minded, and is very well put together. And I watched this performance today, and I'm telling you, taking away the bias, taking away knowing Katherine and knowing Lorraine, and taking away not liking Russ and all of this, there is no way that board, if they were not already predetermined what they were going to do, if they were not already afraid of making the right decision, there is no way that board could do anything other than find in favor of Katherine and vote to move this on to the next level, which was just a step closer to punishing Russ for his misdeeds. And the fact that it was a shit show was insane.
Right. Lorraine is so calm, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And me, I just don't have time for this. I mean, let's just get to the point, right? They did have a plan. They put Connie Gardner in that seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah. So tell them about that first.
So, I just can't. We're going to watch the video. I cannot believe the arrogance.
Yeah.
Russ comes in. He starts the meeting, which, I'm surprised that an election board meeting doesn't have the pledge and prayer. I'm amazed.
He don't care about all that.
Right.
Ours does.
Believe in that myself. And so I'm always amazed. So then Russ is running the show.
Yeah, shocked.
Russ is like, he is large and he is in charge. And then he's going to go and he's going to get Connie Gardner to sit in for him.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you something, Connie Gardner. If you vote in favor of Russ, that is political suicide for your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband. And so I'm sitting here to myself. If I was a Republican in this county, I would not sit on that board to represent Russ Willis.
Yeah. Yeah. She could tell them no. She doesn't have to do that.
Yeah. He's running out of people. Have you noticed he can't get the same person in that seat consecutively?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to also point out to you people, who in their right mind continues as a Republican chair to say, oh, the Democrat person is going to sit as the acting president.
Yeah.
No, you would give it to the other Republican on this panel. But no, it is consistent. And you know why? Because Linda has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
And so, we're gonna watch this video. It was something else. And
Connie Gardner is shady, especially after they shut the fourth booth down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Connie was involved with that. She's dirty.
Connie is she's part of the Republican team. It's Connie Gardner, Kelly Hewer, Russ, and I forget who else is on that team. There's the four of them. I want to say that I'm speechless, but at this point, nothing surprises me anymore.
No.
And I'm telling you, if Lannon says that there's no findings on Russ and doesn't refer this, I'm telling you right now, I'm sending something to the bar because this is crazy.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I think even Mr. Lanane was like, there's a problem here. In his mind, his wheels were spinning. And I think he's looking at this like, this is a big problem.
He was trying.
And he was trying.
He was trying
I don't
every
have
way
anything,
he could.
Yeah, I don't have anything negative, but they wanted to table this. They want to continue to look at this. I just am amazed, but at least we've got all the records so that nothing can be changed. I was surprised. I think the records went back to 2008. So they've done a good job keeping the records.
Yeah.
But you should see all the clerks' names stamped on all these different forms.
It's insane. It's really crazy.
You know, yesterday they had a big thing at the commissioners meeting, and they gave this ordinance and they gave this grand thing to Darlene Likens for her service, and that she has been a trailblazer for women in politics in Madison County. Okay, y'all got to be kidding me. Clearly, because Linda Smith and Olivia Pratt are both her little puppets, and neither one of them know how to run the clerk's office. Look at the disaster of 2020 at the election polls.
Yeah.
And you guys want to call her a trailblazer and a leader? Look at Rick Gardner yesterday in that meeting, thanked her for flipping her from the Democrat side to the Republican side. I'm just floored by all of this. So that's off on another tangent, but back on track here. We'll watch some of this video. I mean, I was just amazed at Russ's comments of, I didn't know anything had changed since 1999.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're kidding me, right?
Russ was going with we're going to party like it's 1999.
And that's the other thing. Russ is like, I don't have my records in one sentence. And then in another sentence, he's like, well, I got the records at home. Let me tell you something that makes me really mad about this. What makes me really mad about this is that they have let this go on for over 4.5 months, allowing Anthony and Emery and Russ Willis, Rob Steele, and everybody who sits on these boards the opportunity to destroy recorurs.
Oh, yeah.
Because Russ was very clear at standing up there and going, well, I only have to go 2 years back.
Yeah.
He knows the rules. If you listen to what he's saying, he's telling on himself.
Yeah.
You know, 1 minute, I don't know the rules, but the next minute is, I only have to keep 2 years worth.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, Russ?
Yeah.
I mean, the more he spoke, the more he told on himself.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts what he was doing. So, all right, I want to say this. So, before Katherine's, they had another quick impromptu meeting, and
that was very bad.
They flubbed it all up. If you want to go watch it, you can watch that on Katherine's. You can watch it on ours. You can see that it was a complaint by Ollie Dixon, and
I just want to be clear. We have spoken to Ollie Dixon, who had absolutely no idea that was going to be talked about. But if you look at on my Facebook post, it says like other information and then my complaint.
Yeah.
This is how they do it in Madison County.
Yeah.
And I want to bring special attention to, you remember when I told you they had an election board meeting and there was nobody in the auditorium at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
They never announced it before the general election.
Yeah.
Now you see what happens. People actually show up when they know there's a meeting.
Yeah.
That's how corrupt Madison County is. And this election board has let this go on. Not giving proper notice, not notifying the people. They have known for weeks that this meeting was going to go on.
Oh, yeah.
For weeks.
Well, and that's the thing. So Ollie filed, basically, you can go back and watch it. It's just to try to for time, we're not going to go. Basically, Ollie had filed a complaint. If anyone files a complaint, that's your right to do so. They have to hear it. And generally, when you file a complaint, they would notify whoever you filed the complaint against, and they would notify you. And they start talking about Ollie's complaint. Ollie's not there. Thank God Rebecca got up and was like, wait, I don't know that he was made aware of this. And they're like, oh, we're just going to talk about it. This is not anything important. He doesn't need to be here. And it's like, no. If you're going to talk about the shit that is in his complaint, You give him notice and you let him have a chance to be there. This is not how this stuff works. So they were going to try. If nobody would have said anything, we would never hear anything else about Ollie's complaint, I don't think. You know, I would have hated for that to happen, but I almost would have liked to have seen nobody go up and say anything. If nobody would have went up and said anything, if Rebecca hadn't have been there, if you guys wouldn't have said anything, we would never hear anything more about Ollie's complaint.
Oh, sure.
I think they were trying to just get it under the rug and have it done and that be it. Now, funny enough, they have to have another hearing on this deal for Ollie, and I think we need to keep our ear to the ground and make sure we know when that is and make sure people show up so that, not because I know exactly what all's going on, but he needs his day. He needs to be allowed. I don't know if I agree with him or not, but he needs to be there and they need to take it serious. It's bullshit. So starting this right off, we're going to go straight into where Katherine and Lorraine are coming up. Now, I want to say, just for those that might not know, for people that are not from Madison County, generally here in the middle, Russ Willis would set. And Russ Willis was here at the start. If you go back here and you see at the start, Russ Willis is here. When we sat down, I was like, holy shit, he's going to hear his own complaint.
Oh, I thought he was
shocked.
too. I thought he was going to hear his own complaint.
I was like, this dude's got some balls. But then he gets up and then he said, Connie Gardner. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was shocked. So Connie Gardner sets down and it's Connie Gardner who takes over for him. And Tim Linnane is right here. Now, Tim Linnane is the Democrat. He is a former state senator. And he's an attorney, and he knows better than this, and he knows what knowingly and intentionally means, and he knows what really a small threshold it is to get over that. And then this idiot down here, these three paste sandwich eaters make up the election board. This is Linda Smith. This will be Connie Gardner, Tim Linnane, and then this dude here is Jeff Graham, and he is the attorney.
And I just want to remind everybody that Landon is also the city attorney.
Yeah, he's the city attorney. That's
so
correct.
He does no government stuff here.
We're just very incestuous. Everybody does everything, and but he knows what's going on. He's not nearly as dumb as he played on TV today. I'll put it to you that way.
And I knew his mic wasn't on because I saw it was red.
Sure.
And that's why I said, I want to make sure everybody's mic's on.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'll speak up. I don't, it's like, this isn't important. No one needs to hear me. It gets loud here. Yeah. Here we go. August 7th, 2024.
So most of you didn't see this, but when they asked the date, when I was walking by Mr. Graham, they wanted to know, I go, it's August 7th. And I just kept walking.
August 7th, 2026.
And what I'd like to do is share also about how I want to proceed on this, which is a book from Katherine Callahan. Yes, sir. So I'm going now the complaint to the presentation field first.
There's
and then the complaint is
hold on, let me see if I can get this any louder.
He's just pretty much saying that he's going to listen to everybody's conversation and then they'll make a ruling. That's pretty much all he said. Oh, yeah. And you're not allowed to speak from the public.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad they took care of that.
Yes, before we proceed, I just want to make sure that everybody's microphones are on and everybody's speaking loud enough for the public to hear before we proceed. I know that's always been a big problem, that not everybody can understand what's being said. So as long as we're doing that, I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Callahan retained me as her attorney. Absolutely. Lorraine White. My home address? Okay. 2629 Lindbergh Road, Anderson, Indiana, 46012. The Madison County Lincoln Club is a political action committee. On information and belief, the officers of the Lincoln Club are Russ Willis, the president, Pete Hewer, the vice president, Anthony Emery, the treasurer, Alan Moore, a board member, and Rob Steele, also a board member. The Lincoln Club holds an annual event called the Lincoln Dinner. Willis's September 2nd, 2022 letter, provided as Exhibit F and G to Exhibit 3, states that the purpose of this dinner is to gather together to fellow and dine with like-minded Republicans. The Lincoln Dinner serves as a fundraising event for the Lincoln Club. Each year, the Lincoln Club sells tickets individually or as part of a sponsorship package. Dinner sponsorships are available for $200 for 2 tickets, and table sponsors are available for $400 for 8. As part of its marketing efforts, the club adds both information of both table and dinner sponsors to their programs. Petitioners providing information obtained regarding the 18 table sponsors in 2020, the 23 table sponsors in 2023, and the 30 table sponsors in 2024. A list of these sponsors has been provided as Exhibits I and H to Ms. Callahan's complaint, Exhibit 3, and as Exhibit 1, respectively. The Lincoln Club and its officers knowingly failed to itemize contributions. Disclosure of money raised and spent in elections has been the bedrock of our political system for years. Voters deserve to know who is funding political communications so that they may evaluate and the full content of the message. Voters need to know who has spent money to elect or defeat officials in order to hold those office holders accountable and prevent corruption. For instance, the public is entitled to know where the funds for flyers, such as the one provided in Exhibit 2, came from. Yeah, Exhibit 2. When I said Exhibit 2, that's what I meant.
Now, I want to pause this just for 1 second.
So we were probably following
As soon as I get this ball of death to stop spinning.
Okay, those exhibits are marked as A, B, C, D, E, and F. Justice Kennedy, and the only portion of Citizens United that had the support of 8 of the 9 justices.
Okay, now I know it might have been hard to hear Tim Linnane there, but you could hear what Lorene is saying, and what Tim was asking was Tim was confused about what she was talking about when she was going along with the complaint and she was talking about evidence. Now, for what you guys on the outside might not know is, again, I want to make it clear that Tim is an attorney. I don't know what kind of attorney he was before he was a government hack, but he was an attorney. He has been through law school. He has practiced at some degree at some point before the judges and judicial matters, and he's talked about evidence and whatnot. You know, even if he's never been a criminal or civil defense attorney in any real way, he has been through that in law school, and he's passed the bar. All right.
And these
Lorene
are all
here,
tabbed. They're all tabbed. This has all been put together.
sure, yeah,
The tabs match what she's stating.
yeah. Lorene is also an attorney, and so get rid of Connie Gardner, get rid of Linda. They're idiots. Tim Linnane is an attorney listening to another attorney. And for him to act like he's just completely befuddled to hear another attorney use the words like evidence and Exhibit 2 and you know, is just utterly insane to me. It's just absolutely just utterly disgusting. If he's that confused, he needs to no longer be an attorney. He needs to give up his law license. I hope he's not practicing. And she's like, yeah, I'm telling
He's
you
the
what
head
this is.
city attorney.
Yeah, right. It's nuts. Absolutely crazy. Imagine if he ever had to sue anyone on behalf of the city. My God, I hope he doesn't. Maybe for Christmas, I need to buy him an Indiana trial book of evidence and trial procedures, because it's like, dude, what? This is simple math. Like, I could go to Kentucky or some backwoods area, probably here in Indiana, and put up a shingle and like represent people for like minor misdemeanors with just the ignorant shit that I know. The fact that he's like, what? Evidence exhibits? What are you talking about? Like, I knew then it doesn't matter what she says, we're screwed. These people are idiots.
And what this showed the entire public of Madison County, and believe me, Madison County is watching what they do. Okay. It showed that for 4.5 months, they've had this complaint and no one has done anything. And I'm going to tell you something. This would have never been heard had I not been consistently writing emails saying, are we ever going to have this discussion? Are we ever going to hear about this? Sean Smith had to pick up his email and says, what are you guys doing about this complaint? Are we moving forward or what are we doing? And I was always told, no, we'll email you. We'll let you know what's going on. Heather sent me emails saying that she would make sure that I would know and she'd send me emails. And you know what? Never got an email from Linda Smith or Heather.
So you didn't even get an email about today?
You know when I got this email? I got this email after inquiring Monday morning at 9:10 that it's going to actually be at 1:00. And only after Miss Crooms went up to the courthouse and took pictures of what was doing there. Now, I want to tell everybody something. The election room where Heather Bailey sits is now locked. You can't get in the room. You must knock. It's the craziest thing I thought election rooms were supposed to be open and welcoming to the public and transparent.
Well,
so the more that Madison County begins to watch,
the
tighter they're starting to lock things down.
The more it gets harder to access shit that we should be able to access.
Yes.
And the other thing is, it's locked away from you, but it doesn't seem to be locked away from Russ Willis, who I'm pretty certain it certainly needs to be locked away from.
Oh no, I have full video of him waltzing right up there this afternoon after the thing, walking in those doors, not having to check anything. He can walk into anything, like he's got master keys and codes, everything he wants. And this guy's under investigation for canvassing by the Indiana State Police.
A couple different felonies.
Yeah. And he's given carte blanche up there.
Yeah. That's a real problem. And that's a real problem for Linda. I'm sorry. Really quickly, I apologize for the shitful audio from the three people on the board and from Jeff Graham, the attorney. If they say anything of importance, I will stop and we can let you know. The main thing that you're hearing here is what the women are saying currently. And then when we get into the point where they're talking, you'll be able to hear from Linda. And I don't think Connie says anything. But when Tim or Graham says anything, we'll stop and let you guys know. But the most important thing is what you're hearing from the testimony. And then we'll get into it a little bit more. But we'll go on here a little bit further.
Noted the importance of disclosing the sources of campaign spending. He wrote that disclosure provides the electorate with information, makes sure that the voters are fully informed about the person or group who is speaking, and ensures the people are able to evaluate arguments to which they are being subject. As the board is aware, the Indiana statute provides that contributions above $100 per person must be itemized. Indiana Code 39514 states, itemized contributions are those contributions received by a candidate's committee from a contributor whose individual contribution or cumulative aggregate contributions exceed $100 during a calendar year. Here, the evidence provided shows that a number of individuals and committees made contributions above the $100 threshold. However, these donations were not itemized on the CFA 4 filed by the Lincoln Club in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, or 2024. Luckily, numerous other candidates and committees followed the statute and disclosed these contributions. These contributions made by other candidates or committees can be found in the CFAs on file at the Madison County Clerk's Office, and several of those parties or committees listed their contribution to the Lincoln Club. This is not an exhaustive list of the contributions made. In fact, the petitioner would have no way of knowing all the contributions made as they were not properly itemized. First, I'd like to draw your attention to page 5 of the CFA 4 filed by the Committee to Elect Linda Smith, dated October 19th, 2022. That's Exhibit 3J. Here you can see that the Committee to Elect Linda Smith donated $400 to the Madison County Lincoln Club on October 14th, 2022. A review of the CFA 4 filed by the Lincoln Club shows no corresponding contribution from the Committee to Elect Linda Smith. The evidence provided shows that the following committees also made contributions above the $100 reporting floor for the years 2021 through 2024. Pierce for Indiana, $400.99 in 2021. Committee to Elect Larry Davis, $400 in 2022. Committee to Re-elect Rodney Cummins, $400 in 2022. Committee to Elect Judge Dudley, $400 in 2022. Committee to Elect Bob Cherry, $220 in 2022. Committee to Elect Bob Cherry, $260 in 2023. Mandrell for Indiana, $400 in 2024. As you can see, these committees clearly contributed more than the reporting floor, yet none of this information has been itemized on the CFA 4 filed by the Lincoln Club. In fact, the Lincoln Club CFA 4s failed to provide the amount contributed by each candidate or committee, as well as the full name and mailing address of the contributors. Instead, in 2024, R. Willis filled out the contributions by individuals by listing the contributor as Lincoln Dinner and the amount as $14,820. Similarly, in 2023, R. Willis provided the contributor as Lincoln Dinner and the amount as $8,250. In 2022, R. Willis listed the contributor as Lincoln Dinner and the amount as $7,600. In 2021, R. Willis listed the contributor as Lincoln Dinner and the amount as $8,845. Finally, in 2020, A. Emery listed the contributor as Lincoln Dinner and the amount as $7,770. As a note, the Lincoln Dinner is not an entity, corporation, or person in the state of Indiana. While I believe it references an event, the Lincoln Club officers represented it as a person. This failure to disclose contributions ensures that the public will not be able to see who is funding the activities of the Lincoln Club. The information provided above shows that even with investigation, there are a number of donations that have gone unreported, as the person or group donating may not be required to report themselves. This outlines the importance of the Lincoln Club PAC to disclose all donations made to it within the statutory guidelines. A person who knowingly files a fraudulent report commits a level 6 felony and is subject to a $10,000 fine, 2.5 years imprisonment, or both. Indiana Code 314.113. The evidence presented shows that the Lincoln Club officers, Willis and Emery, both provided fraudulent information when failing to properly fill out and file CFA 4s for the Lincoln Club. Both Willis and Emery have experience and knowledge in the filling out and filing of campaign finance forms. Willis has been the Madison County Republican chair for over 10 years and was a city councilman in Anderson from 2012 to 2015. During his tenure, Willis has informed numerous candidates that he would assist them with their own CFA forms if they had questions or needed assistance. Additionally, during his tenure as Republican chair, Willis has sat as a member of this election board, the very board tasked with the enforcement of these campaign finance/election laws. The election board has historically investigated campaign finance violations and has taken action as outlined in state statute regarding these violations. For instance, in 2023, the election board conducted investigations, issued correspondence, and ultimately issued fines to candidates and committees who were delinquent on filings of their campaign finance forms. Needless to say, Willis is knowledgeable regarding campaign finance/election laws. Additionally, Lincoln Club Treasurer Anthony Emery has shown that he understands and is able to correctly fill out a CFA, as he did so with his own campaigns in 2018, 2020, and 2023. These forms clearly show that Emery was aware of the campaign finance rules and regulations and was able to follow them in the past. In fact, in both 2018 and 2019, Emery made a contribution of $1,000 to the Lincoln Club. If you look at Exhibit 4, tab A and B, you can see those listed contributions. And in 2020, he made a contribution of $100, which he also itemized on his own CFA form. And you'll find that under Exhibit 4, tab C. The duties of the election board. Each year, the Lincoln Club, by and through its officers, filed a CFA-4 with the Madison County Clerk's Office. These CFA-4 forms were stamped by the Clerk's Office, and although they were blatantly and openly defective, Madison County Clerk and the Madison County Clerk is a member of the election board. No investigation was ever performed until Ms. Callahan filed this complaint. In fact, after the filing of Ms. Callahan's complaint, several entities, including the Herald Bulletin, reported that additional candidates and committees had similar violations. Specifically, on August 17th, 2024, Ken Delabastide wrote, traditionally, the Lincoln Club and Democratic Party have not itemized contributions during such events as golf outings and traditional yearly campaign events. A copy of that article can be found as Exhibit 5. Although the newspaper seems to believe this is commonplace, upon information and belief, no investigation into any other candidate or committee with similar CFA violations has been initiated by the election board. Indiana Code 314.53 provides that the election board has a duty to report these violations to the prosecuting attorney, and I've provided you with that section. Finally, the issuance of a finding of fact by this board today constitutes an investigation and provides the basis by which a county prosecutor may act to bring criminal or civil charges, or the Indiana Attorney General may act to bring civil charges. Conclusion and findings. 1. It is clear from the evidence presented that the Lincoln Club, more specifically Russ Willis and Anthony Emery, the officers who filled out and filed the CFA forms in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, violated Indiana Code 39514. Based on the information and evidence, it is clear that the Lincoln Club, and more specifically Russ Willis and Anthony Emery, the officers who filled out the CFA forms in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, did so knowingly. Pursuant to Indiana Code 314.113, both Russ Willis and Anthony Emery have committed a level 6 felony and are subject to a $10,000 fine and 2.5 years imprisonment or both. The Madison County Election Board shall refer these officers to the Madison County Prosecutor for criminal charges in accordance with Indiana statute. The Madison County Election Board shall refer these officers to the Indiana Attorney General for civil prosecution in accordance with the Indiana statute. As a side note, I want the board to be aware, should the election board fail to follow the Indiana statutes, the petitioner is fully prepared to assert her rights and move forward with the petition for review. Of note, the court in Callis versus Lake County Board of Elections and Registration made clear that were the decisions of an election board contrary to law, the court will give no deference to the local election board's interpretation of the statute and will review the case de novo.
My concern here, as everybody is flipping through these pages, is I'd like to know how much the clerk has found other areas that Russ has not reported an itemized bill. Have you gone through all of this? Not for you, don't have to answer. Have you gone through all of the different reports looking to see what else hasn't been reported on his? We have a couple other people who are in seat who did not itemize their bills either. So this will give us a direction on where we need to go from here. When you have dark money and you allow that dark money to send out flyers that are false, that lie about an individual who holds a doctorate's degree and owns her own professional practice. I will not stand for that. And I will follow this through until it is completely done. Because I will never allow someone to put out nonsense. All of you can talk about my page, but every piece of my page, I support it with a receipt. He has not done that. He took the monies that you donated and he put out false information on several people. That is wrong. Today, you will show this county, will lightness prevail or will the corruption of darkness? If this doesn't get cleaned up, you will never be able to hold anybody accountable on finance reports in this county ever again. Because you have let the leader of the entire county do whatever he wants with finance reports. If you've read the paper today, you see Diego Morales is under investigation for that. You're seeing this go nationally, that people are under investigation for how they're reporting their elections and their finances. This will come back if he's not held accountable. So we'll see how you guys decide today.
Any questions for either one of the people that testified?
Okay.
And do you have any additional?
So they sit down and they let Russ get up here. Here comes Russ. Now, this is the biggest part because you're going to hear how he defends himself against this. Does he bring up an attorney?
Well, he had a question for us.
Oh,
Correct.
So your evidence that these reports was filed knowingly or
My evidence is that the Republican chair who holds himself out
Okay,
to be
so
an expert tells
what
people
Tim-
that he knows how to.
what Tim has asked her is basically in the law it's saying that he needs to knowingly or intentionally do these things. They're proving that that he did this, that he purposefully did this. If you're a first-time candidate and you were blind and you didn't read, because I just would say being a first-time candidate is no excuse. Ignorance is no excuse, for messing up. It's no excuse for the law, and so there could be, I guess, some kind of reason why, but the bottom line is he has been involved with this stuff long enough that there is no excuse why that he's not getting this. And so the problem here is Lanaine is trying to give him some kind of an out. That's what he's doing and asking her this. And she's just like, no, the fact that he is the chair and the fact that he's been doing this long, in a court of law, he would be considered an expert because of his length of time involved and his breadth of knowledge, the depth of knowledge that he's had in this field. He's a bad guy. He's not dumb. And so let's hear what she says here.
File the reports. Well, help them file the reports. Sits on this election board and is the one who votes on people who don't file reports properly, should know how to file a report. It's based upon his knowledge and experience.
All right. Do you have no further?
Good afternoon. I am Russ Willis, President of the Lincoln Club.
I'm not sure why he didn't have to give his address.
Yeah, right. They like even asked her how ludicrous.
Several points I want to make in regards to this complaint.
I'm going to stop right there because about one thing was a point.
23 and
Nothing he said was a point. It was a circle jerk of information is all that was. I'm sorry if that offended anybody what I just said, but it is the truth. All he did was spin and spin and spin, making no points at all.
Yeah. No, that's the problem. I mean, there's nothing that he says that gives a basis for why he has done this wrong. He's basically that's the name of this episode. What did I call it? But we've always done it this way. That's no excuse.
Right. And Jason made a comment that these people seem disinterested. What everybody needs to understand is that Linda Smith, Connie Gardner, Lannon, they have dug their heels in and they are throwing a tantrum. And my golly, it's Katherine who's speaking. She's the one that made the complaint. And I don't care if we have to bite off our nose to spite our face. We are not going to find in favor of Katherine. We are not ever going to let that happen because we don't want justice or the truth to prevail. Because if she wins, well, then we might actually have to fess up that we did something wrong. And they've gotten into such this rut that they are now tail spinning.
Yeah.
Get over yourselves. I mean, the complaint's been made. If it's right, it's right. Who cares who brought it to light?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've dealt with this. I can't even tell you how many times they just don't like the fact that it's like, oh my God, Kristopher Bilbrey's doing this. It's like, all right, it is what it is. You got to deal with it now. And the issue at hand is he's done all of these issues. This is not the first complaint against him. It's the second felony complaint against him in this last election cycle, and meaning the primary and now into the general. There are all sorts of other complaints against him that just haven't ever really went anywhere, but he's always been a part of this cover-up sleazy operation. And I think the chickens are coming home to roost. And what the problem is, he is pulling all these other people down with him. And that's the problem here. It's all these other people who he's allowing to pull them down, and they need to jump off of the sinking SS Russ Willis, or he is going to pull them down. You know how oftentimes they will say that someone that's drowning oftentimes will drown the person who comes to save them? I'm telling you, Linda, he is going to drown you.
Oh, absolutely.
Connie Gardner, dude, for what? Don't set up there anymore. That's ignorant. And Tim Linnane, dude, I
have to give it to Tim, because when I brought it up, because when I brought it up about Todd Culp not initialing, he was the only one that said, "Is correct.
Yep.
Catherine's correct.
Yep.
I'm going to find in her favor."
Yep.
And he did vote on the canvassing. So
Yep.
He's trying to do the right thing.
If he rules twice and then continues, listen, I would be better with him to have ruled ignorantly on the Todd Culp shit and done the right thing here. This honestly is almost a bigger issue than the Todd Culp thing. I'm just saying, okay, great. So he had 2 days of lucidity, and then today he's just completely out of whack. He doesn't even know what exhibits are.
So this will be real interesting. So if anybody can point out to me the points that Russ is going to make, I want to hear them. So we're going to listen to this now.
Play devil's advocate. Let us know. Tell us why Russ is right. All right, here we go.
2024. In those years, 2023, the tickets were $60 a piece, and in 2024 they were $75 a piece. So a table would have been $480 or $600 depending on the year. But as has been indicated in an article in Herald Bulletin, which I was aware of the CFA for committees, for candidates, have filed as events. Put it all together and put it in. Many times, most of the time, from my understanding and knowledge, those were ticketed events under $100. So technically, you could have they could have been filed under unitemized. We, the Lincoln Club, have always filed them as an event under itemized, just so we were being open as to where the money was and what the event was. With a ticket at $60 or $75, they're paid by individuals. Sometimes a candidate will get people to sit at their table, they'll collect them from them and give them to us, or write a check from their own committee. And that would seem to me to be a convenience, rather than writing 8 separate checks for $60 or $75, just write one check from the committee. If this was to the level of violation that's been accused, over 50 years of people looking at these reports, something would have come out, I would think. As long as I can remember, I've seen events, as was mentioned, from Democrats and Republicans, that this was the report. They would have a salad luncheon, they would have a reception, and whatever the event would call, a golf outing, and they would put it in as golf outing, reception, whatever. In our case, it's Lincoln dinner, and present one amount. So maybe our error was doing it under an itemized page rather than the unitemized page, because the ticket's always been under $100. Several candidates will collect individually from the people for the tickets, and then either turn those in to us, or individually tickets, or they will write one from their campaign, depending on how people wrote the checks. We have that the night of the event. People will come in and hand in 6, 7, 8 checks, and they're all made out individually. But yet they're listed as a sponsor, which then when you correlate that with the invitation letter, it looks like they contributed $400 or $600. That's not necessarily the case. As far as investigating finance reports by this board, and I was the one who did it, we have enforced and issued fines based on the timely filing of these reports. I have seen several reports, I could mention names, but I won't, that had errors in their report, and we did not pursue those errors. I've never looked at the math. I didn't want to get into all that. That's a whole lot of work. Maybe we should. We might find additional things. There's never been any intent to hide or keep people from knowing. I mean, if we print a sponsor list, which that sponsor list is not all people who contributed financially. Some people are listed as sponsors for other reasons, and sometimes, honestly, their name is put on there just to give them more exposure to those attending the dinner. So that list is not accurate if you went into computing monetary contributions. So again, there's been no intent. Again, I learned about this event thing probably 30 years ago by looking at reports of candidates who had salad luncheons at $5 a pop. I'm talking in the 90s and early 2000s, $5 per luncheon. And their report showed $2,700 they raised at their luncheon. That's an awful lot of $5 salads. But we know people put out baskets, people put cash in, and it's all about an event report. So again, there's been no intentional trying to hide anything. Any questions?
I guess I have a question just to make sure. Have you seen these exhibits that have been filed as to the reports of some of the candidates that filed in the list of Lincoln Club as an expenditure?
Yeah, probably as a table sponsor. Yes, I did see those, Mr. Lannon.
Mr. Lannon, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because you're the most powerful speaker.
Yeah.
You are the one we want to hear.
I don't know why. I don't know if this was captions of the broadcast number, or if it actually.
We can hear Linda when she talks.
Okay, I'll speak up. I'm sorry. I've had some issues with my voice.
Thank you.
You can't tell.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that might help. Thank you. Yes. So anyway, I'm looking at the committee for Larry Davis's report, where he does list the Lincoln Club, GOP, $400 says fundraiser GOP. Are you saying that in that case, I mean, the check was written by Larry Davis or by his committee for $400 to the Lincoln Club? It's not that he gathered, multiple checks and then turned them all in. And it was.
Some candidates gathered checks from the different people and turned those in. Some candidates, like the Bob Cherry one that was mentioned in the previous testimony, his was like 260, and there was another one for 200. Not everybody pays the candidate. Some of them give him checks, and so he would turn in 260 from his committee and then turn in other checks from other people. And for convenience, my understanding would be for convenience, you'd write a check from your committee, and then people could write it to him, which would be unitemized because they're under $100.
Okay, but in each case for these committee reports, you agree that the Lincoln Club received a check from that entity, whether it was Larry Davis or Linda Smith or these other committees, these other committees.
That's likely why they reported it, because it was one check over 100.
And made out to the Lincoln Club by that committee, there was more than $100, correct?
Yes. And if we should have itemized each one of those,
Well, then I'm sorry.
Now, when you say that for 50 years, this has been a practice, how do you know that?
well, I read the Herald Bulletin article, and he said he's been following it since the 70s.
Jesus.
And I've been president of the Lincoln Club since at least 1999.
Okay. So where's the 50 years at?
I have at least that 25-year reference. And then seeing reports and stuff previous to that would go back at least 8 or 9 more years before I was the acting president.
And you're saying the Lincoln Club has records that demonstrate that's the way this has been handled by the Lincoln Club?
We normally purge our records every 2.5 years as allowed by law. So we record those. When I took over, there was multiple years of records, but those haven't been kept. But we do keep right 2 years as a
pause that right there. Kate has a picture she wants to put up because he just testified right here. It says on the end, archives retention 4 years from December 1st following election to which they pertain or after expiration of the term of office, whichever is the latter. He better show us 4 years of records.
Okay, so say that again then.
He said he only had to retain for 2.5 years. The law says he's supposed to be doing it for 4 years.
Yeah, that's when he said that. I was pretty sure because listen, it seems like it should at least be. It should at least be a full term, right?
Yeah.
A full political term makes sense. So
and who really wants to have the Herald Bulletin as your counsel? They can't get anything right.
Yeah, right. Like when he said that, I like spit water out. I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah,
that's your.
I mean, right there, he just showed the people. Well, I'm only keeping records for 2.5 years. Well, you better come up with 4, buddy, because you're supposed to have 4. And
not only that, he's supposed to be retaining the checks coming into the committee for 3 years by state code.
And here's the thing. Now, after watching this again for the second time, see how Russ started to hit on no intent?
Yeah. Oh,
Him and Lannon have already had a private discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Because Lannon made it a point to bring that up to Laureen. Yes. Now you know how this is all working. Yes. They're all working behind the scenes. And the fact that he kept saying no intent, Landon's number one thing. Oh, was there intent? Are you kidding me? Everything Russ does is intentional.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's yeah. So,
right. And here's the thing. Then Russ goes on to say, there are errors in other reports. I won't be bringing up any names. You should be removed from your seat right now. You intentionally know other people are doing fraudulent things on their reports.
Yeah.
You're not acting on that. Linda Smith's not acting on that. We have corruption in Madison County, and Russ Willis needs to go. He needs to resign tomorrow.
Yeah. Who, wait a minute, Russ. Who are these other people? What are you talking about?
He just said, I have other people, and I'm not mentioning their names. You know why? Because they're part of his swamp.
Well, sure. Well, or he's alluding to, because what he's doing right there is he's making it seem like he's protecting like people like you and people in your network. Because what he's doing there is he's making it seem like, but I can tell you right now, there are people in our circles. And you know of people who he has let slide on things before, and people who've told us stuff that, because of how it's told, and their past, that's not going to come out. But he's clearly been made aware, and he knows of people who have not done the proper thing here, and he's just covering it up. And that's why we know that that's what he's doing here. That's what he's hoping that his buddies do here for him. And it doesn't matter. It's just not, he's not playing the same game that you or I or anyone else plays, because he is Russ Willis.
And here's the thing, Russ Willis, if you just listen to yourself, you as the Republican chair condone dark money. You condone the people, they have baskets out.
Yeah.
They're dumping money in there. Right there shows me that he's manipulating this whole thing. Here's the thing. He brings up Larry Davis. He wants to talk about Larry Davis. Well, Sue and Betty, they're going to give Larry money, and then Larry's just going to write one check. Well, here's the thing. If Sue and Betty are from the same household, that's over $100 because it's $120. So now Larry has to be itemizing all the people who are giving him that money if there's a couple or something, because that's over the $100. Therefore, now he has to itemize. Do not play with me, Troy or Russ Willis.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you're doing with the entire community. But you know what? The eyes are wide open.
Yeah.
We have 51 viewers watching right now.
Well, listen.
And I promise you, those 51 viewers are probably going to tell 10 people.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And it's going to go like, and I know they all watch this, but I'm telling you right now, everything he said tonight, everything he said in this meeting today was horse crap.
Oh, yeah. No question. No
and
question.
This has been rehearsed. This is why they are disengaged, because he assured them we're going to go in there. It's Katherine. Nobody's going to listen. And you know what? We're going to do just like we did with Todd Culp's application, and we're just going to force our way through this, and we're going to override everything, and we're going to get away with everything we've been doing. And that is absolutely asinine.
Yep.
We are not stupid people. There is nobody on this forum tonight who is dumb.
Well, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. They want the people to be stupid.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's their number one goal. Their number one goal is for all of us to just be ignorant.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our government classes in America. Let's just keep these kids stupid. Well, no, we don't want that. We want to educate these kids. We want them to know what's going on. And, a wise woman said this to me yesterday. An informed society is the most dangerous to a corrupt system.
Yep.
And that's all I'm doing. I am educating and informing the public, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
These people won't give you a straight answer to save your life.
Yeah.
And so Laureen, Sean, Bree, Jamie, Nicole, Cheryl, the list goes on and on. And if I didn't mention your name, I apologize. But all these people, all they're doing is educating the masses.
Absolutely.
Ken Delabassi said to me, Who would pick a fight with people who buy ink by the barrel? You know what my response is to that, people? Well, the people who know how powerful social media is.
Absolutely.
That's who.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can't wait to read the paper report on this. The paper wasn't even there, so I'll be interested to see that.
He wasn't there today?
No. Why? You can just watch my podcast.
Yeah,
you can
right.
Just watch my video.
Does he call you?
Are you kidding me? He doesn't want my side of the story.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let's listen to the rest of what Russ has to say. It's not much of anything.
Yeah, you're right.
Committees. Why was this one put on as an individual? Why did you use it?
So now Graham is asking him why he.
No particular reason. No, sir.
There's no particular reason he does anything. He just does it.
It's what has always been used. And, again, we were saying this event, this amount of money was received based on events that have always been logged in, reported as events, whether it be a golf outing or a reception. And again, if this was an issue, it should have come up sometime in the last 30 to 50 years.
Well, it has. It's an Indiana state code.
Right.
Because there is a schedule for PACs, correct?
Schedule for PACs, all committees, political campaign committees, campaign committees, things like that. Although I think that this would be fair to say that number is lumped in. There's some individuals write checks.
Yes.
And then some PACs write to the Lincoln Club.
If we have a contribution from a PAC, there is a separate page for that.
Okay, what about a campaign committee, such as I noticed?
No, those would go under item.
Those go into that. Okay. So the total income of the Lincoln Club that's paid in would be located in two different places. One would be located on the individual form, the other would be located on PAC.
If there was a PAC, I think I only recall one time that a PAC had ever contributed.
But none in 2024 or 2023.
No. Anything else?
Any other questions?
He just acts like it's like.
I do not have any questions.
Thank you. Any additional information or what does this present?
No, just in summation, I would say there's never been any intent to report improperly. And experience, which was mentioned that I should know because of my experience, that's been my experience for over 30 years, is that events can be reported as events. And it's never been questioned. Thank you very much.
Okay, now
make
I
one statement?
want to pause that
Yep.
for just a minute. Okay. Just sent you something in Messenger. I want you to pull that up. I want you to pull that piece up. This is a letter. I'm sending you two different ways. So this is a letter that Russ sends out to people who want to sponsor at the Lincoln Club. Now, I want everybody to know this isn't something that Catherine's just gone on this. Why? In 2020, I was the treasurer for Troy Abbott's campaign. We bought a table for $400. I itemized it in our expenditures. It's not in the Lincoln Club as a receipt that they received that. So that's why a lot of this I'm able to do this because I was actually involved in this. But if you look at this letter down at the bottom, table sponsors, let's see. Each year, success of the dinner is assured by many who step forward to be a dinner or table sponsor. Dinner sponsorship are available for a contribution of $250, which includes 2 tickets along with acknowledgement in the program. Okay. The other one says table sponsors are entitled to 8 dinner seats for $600, which may be given to friends or resold. Okay. Well, if they're reselling them, because that's what they're doing, then no one is paying Larry Davis to buy these up front. He is paying you the $600 or the $400, and then whatever he's doing with those tickets or whatever. And that's what he's saying, because they can resell them. Fine. So everything he just said is contradicted in this letter that I just got from everybody, right? So then it says the cost of the dinner is $75. Because we must guarantee the caterer reservation paid guaranteed 7 days before the actual event. Please understand that your reservation must be paid regardless of attendance.
Yep.
Okay. So now go to the next picture I just sent you.
Okay.
At the top of this, it says the Madison County Lincoln Club would like to acknowledge and thank our friends listed below for becoming sponsors of our annual dinner. That means, according to his letter, they bought tables. He just said everybody in the sponsorship doesn't mean they all gave money. According to your definition at the top of this page, it sure does.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you can call it as it is. I'm just saying, I'm calling liar, liar, pants on fire.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it really doesn't even matter what the check was written for.
No,
if the check is more than $99, if the cash coming in is more than $99, you are by state code supposed to itemize it.
And
period. End of statement.
And according to his directions, all these people were 250 or higher. Now, there is a state code that says if you know that somebody is not reporting their campaign finances correctly, okay, and that they so this PAC is not reporting their itemization, and you continue to contribute to it, you can be held accountable too. See, that's dark money. These people are dark money.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen is it needs to be cross-referenced. So everybody, Ken Kaczynski, perfect example. Ken Kaczynski, he itemized it. I've seen he's itemized. His isn't dark money. But any of you people who did not put that on as an expenditure on yours, you could possibly be dark money.
Sure.
We don't know where this money's coming in from.
Sure.
And I can tell you something. A lot of your sponsors were not real happy with that flyer that you sent out about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll be real interested to see how much sponsorship he gets in the 2025.
Well, 2026, but yeah.
Well, he'll have one in 25.
Okay. So
you know what I'm saying? So I'll be real interested to see what he does. But these are all the things I want people to see. Like, these are serious allegations. This is not Katherine just sitting over here saying, "Oh, what can I drum up?" This is a big deal. This is very dark money that you people have allowed. And when I say you people, I mean you people who have contributed. Every one of these sponsors should have been in the meeting today, and they all should have had a problem with this. Linda Smith should have had a problem with this. She's one of the contributors. She should have said, "You know what? I don't think it was right that flyer went out. Don't put me in the middle of all this." I mean, these are the things. I mean, here's the other thing. I have no idea why Connie Gardner gets to sit up there. I mean, she's part of, the board of the Republicans. It's Kelly Hewer, her, Russ Willis. How can she fairly say anything against Russ? Linda Smith, she can't do the right thing to save her life. I mean, Linda can't even give a chair to a constituent watching canvassing who's got a heart condition. Linda can't even apologize to the public for having a staff member who's so careless and hateful. The culture in Madison County has to come to an end. If any of you have not seen this entire video, you need to watch the whole thing. I mean, it's just craziness. So we can watch a little bit more of the video, but I kind of wanted people to see Russ needs to resign, and he needs to resign effective immediately. And do you know that Linda and Tim can vote to have Russ removed tomorrow?
Oh,
they
sure.
hold the majority of the body, and they don't even do that right.
Wait a minute. You're meaning on the election board?
Election board.
Yeah.
They can vote to have him removed, but you know what? They're like, well, he hasn't been found guilty of anything.
Yeah.
We'll just keep letting him go.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't care that he's dragging us through the mud. We don't care that he's making us look like buffoons.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been able to touch him in all these years. You think you're any different?
Yeah. No, that's exactly. That is 100%. That's the problem with this. That is absolutely. He believes he is untouchable. Yeah. And they make him see this way.
Yeah. These people are in quicksand.
Yeah. That is absolutely true.
I mean, if they find that Russ didn't do anything wrong, well, no one in Madison County has to turn in another campaign report.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the honest truth. No one has to do that. I mean, this is so, like someone said, they're all about power and control.
Yeah.
She is the last one of the kingdom to go. I think they're talking about lichens.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a true comment. They all have to have the last word. I mean, that they just have to they have to dig their heels in. They have to show that the community's wrong. And then if they can't show you're wrong, then they have to come after you personally. It's just a nightmare.
Well, yeah, the problem is what did he say there? He said, if nobody's ever questioned this in all the years I've been here since 1999, you figured that if we were doing something wrong, somebody would have questioned it. No, you're the man doing it. You're the man in control. You believe you're the kingmaker. You're the man at the top of the pile. You put the people in the precinct committee spots. You make sure that you're elected and you're always going to be in top, the top turd at the king of Shit Mountain, top turd on Shit Mountain as the Republican chair. You're the president of the election board. You're the judge, jury, and executioner. No, why would anybody dare say anything? Because nothing can happen. It's not until something like this happens and you come up against another immovable force that you're like, now what?
If he didn't know that this was supposed to take place the way it did, if he didn't know since 99, and this has been, then why are you in your seat, Russ?
Yeah.
You don't know what the rules are. You're telling all of us you know what the rules are. Well, what are they?
Yeah. He's telling people he can help them with their paperwork and stuff. I'm telling you, I would never go to this person for help with my paperwork, because if he doesn't know shit better than this, I wouldn't trust him to, that's a problem. That's a serious problem. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, he just told on all his people. He just told on Larry Davis. He just told on Cummings. He admittedly said Russ claims he knew that the committees were accepting money from people and writing a single check.
Yeah.
He claims to have personal knowledge of that. That is against the law. It's illegal to knowingly accept funds from someone when you know the funds originated elsewhere.
Yeah.
So Russ is accepting funds, but he knows those funds came from somewhere else and not the person who's writing the check. Let me tell you, this is dark money.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a pay-to-play county of corruption.
Yeah. There's no question.
And it needs to fall.
That is absolutely correct.
So there's a few more minutes if you want to look at the last of that video.
Oh, yeah.
But it is time for Madison County to show up, because the power really is in the people.
That is absolutely correct. And I'm telling you, listen, we've got a little bit of time. where people don't have, it's not like you got to rush out and get all involved. I know people are kind of, because after the presidential election, there's not a whole lot of shit that goes on in 2025 because of the year off. But that doesn't mean you just get to bow out. That's the year. This is the year that we need to start planning. We need to start taking this time to plan about what's going to happen, because you can't just show up in January of 2026 and say, all right, I'm ready to do something. It's not going to work like that. It does not work. It will not work. You cannot win. That doesn't happen. You need to start making the plan now. If you want to do something, if you want to be part of something, you need to start getting a hold of people. Contact Katherine, contact me, contact the people involved that the people whose names on here. Get involved on the groups, on the pages, and start talking to people and start networking. That's what it takes. And you got to start now.
Just like Jamie Lynn is asking, can Linda and the others get in trouble too if they don't do the right thing? That's why if you listen to what we said, if you listen to Lorene and I, we are going after this civilly. If these people in the election board find him not guilty and they do not refer this on, okay, well now they're violating Indiana statute. They have an obligation to uphold the Indiana statute. That's what they're in those seats for.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell everybody right now, I'm literally not going to turn in my finances if they find him, if they don't find him in the position that he has to be referred. I am not going to turn in my finances. And anybody who comes after me, I'm going to say that this is a personal attack on a minority and this is wrong because you didn't do it to the leader.
Well, yeah, right.
I'm not playing games with you people. Like I'm okay, fine. Then I'm going to force your hand. I'm not turning my finances, and I'm going to tell everybody else not to turn in their finances.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone would need to, because they're telling us it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're telling people that it does not matter. You don't need to do this. If Russ doesn't need to, if the election board doesn't need to, I don't know. Now, obviously, anyone listening to this, do as you see fit, and we're not attorneys and yada yada yada, but you got to play your own game out there. But yeah, if they're telling you this isn't a problem, then it's not a problem.
I mean, I stress over turning in my election.
Yeah, right.
I'm making sure
right.
This is there and that's there and this and I'm making sure it's all man. I mean, it's like, I go crazy because I'm not trying to do anything to manipulate it.
Because you're a decent person trying to play by the rules, trying to do the right thing. You know why? Because you're not Russ Willis. You're not in control of this. And he gets to do as he wants. And because people like Linda and people like Connie and I'm sorry, people like Tim Linnane, they're going to let him have an excuse out. When Tim Linnane is sitting there pushing the envelope for Lorene and being like, well, wait a minute. What's your evidence that he knowingly did this? What do you mean, dude? He put pen to paper, my guy.
Are you kidding me? Let me tell you intent. Intent was that flyer.
Yeah, right.
Paid for by all you people who sponsor that Lincoln Club.
Yeah.
Didn't you, I know you worry about your campaign finance reports, Katherine. Didn't you go in with one and end up having to walk out and add something and then take it back in?
One edition and I'm like, oh, and so I'm sitting out there frantically redoing all the math. I mean, I'm checking it at the last one. It's like I'm turning in a test.
It's like cramming for an exam in college.
Yeah. And all these people are flying in and they're just turning them in. They're not, and I'm making sure I've checked everything, because you know what? If it were me turning that in, if it were Miss Crooms turning that in, we'd be held over the coals and raked through and drugged by our hairs if we did anything like that.
Now we had somebody asking in here about that a lot of political action committees filed their reports at the state level.
Not Madison. This is Madison County. This is a pay to play. We keep everything right here contained.
Well, no, it's because it's because it's a county. It's a political action committee that handles county local candidates. That's what it is.
And they have the option to do that. or
You
they
can
have
do
the
either
option to
or.
file them at the state.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
we
file
don't do,
ours
in
at the
Madison
state.
County,
Yeah.
they keep everything right here. And that's what I'm saying. I'm
Well,
going to go file
here's
it with the
here's
state
the
minute.
thing. If you file it at the state, you know what you can do?
Well,
you can get onto the Indiana
sure.
campaign finance
It's
page.
easy for everybody to see
and
it.
You can look it up.
Yeah. Well, and there's more eyes on it, and it's like, you know, like Katherine's saying, they don't want people outside. You know, they want to have the key and it be behind their door, and not, you know, they're not giving anybody else a chance.
A
And
couple months ago, I was at a Lincoln or a Tea Party meeting,
yeah,
and Senator Gaskell scolded me
yeah, I remember that.
because I said we need federal oversight. Gaskell said, "Now you don't need anything in this. Why don't you just be quiet and sit over there in that corner and not make a big scene? And, you know, maybe you would actually win an election."
He's such an idiot.
Listen here.
I'm not a big fan of him.
It doesn't matter if I win an election. What matters to me, are we doing the right thing? That's what matters to me. So, you know, people can take it any way they want, but I was so insulted by Gaskell's comments. You know, and that's the whole thing. Russ Willis is a snake.
Yeah.
He has destroyed this county with his picks. And now look at what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a complete disaster. And so at some point, we're going to have to find our way. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There's about 2 good elected officials in Madison County. That's about it. The only way through this is by the people. That's the only way we're going to get this done. Your elected clerk can't get herself out of a wet paper bag. She is drowning. She is in over her head. And she is waiting for everybody else to tell her to do which way to turn. No, we can't have that.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, that's just the harsh reality of it. You know, I'm just kind of done with everything. There's a new post out for everybody that I'll get shared. I don't know how much more I'll be able to share, everybody. I've shared so much on Facebook. Sometimes they get on me, but
who gets on you?
Well, Facebook, because they're like, oh, you can only share so much. So I encourage everybody to go to the Madison County Government Accountability page and share this post. And it says, Russ just admitted to breaking the law. Either the candidate committee sponsored the table and Russ should have itemized the contribution. Those same candidates showed an itemized expenditure. This is what should have happened. Or Russ's latest excuse is candidate committee pulled money from their supporters. Then the candidates committee simply sponsored the table out of convenience, utilizing one transaction. Well, if that's Russ's openly admitted himself and others were accepting money in one person's name that actually originated with someone else's. If the election board buys Russ's bullshit excuse, it looks like several candidate committees violated the law also. 1, it is illegal to accept in one person's name when you have knowledge the contributions originated with someone else. Indiana Code 3-9-4-16-7. 2, even if contributions are not greater than $100, the candidate or committee must have internal controls in place to keep track of accumulative donations during the cycle. The reporting requirement is limited to single donations. It is the cumulative donations from a source within the period. Russ can't accept $100 a day and simply state each donation was not greater than $100. From Russ's testimony, he has no controls to keep track of donors' cumulative donations within any period. Meaning that if somebody's donating you $20 every week, you've got to keep, you know, and it equals over $100. You got to talk. This is the part where the circle jerk I'm telling you guys about. Share these posts. I mean, The only way we're going to be able to get through this, you guys, is by you guys sharing the information too, saying What is wrong? Give your interpretation of what that post says there on Madison County Government Accountability Facebook page. And, we're trying to put out, and, when they actually decided to delay this until the 15th of January, I thought, so you guys just bought yourselves almost a month of us putting out even more information,
right,
showing how corrupt this election board is. They should have put this election board to a stop today.
Yeah.
Today, it should have come to a stop and it should have been referred on. And then, do you know what they started talking about? Statute of limitations.
Yeah.
This is how it's done in Madison County. We are going to run the time clock down. That's how they do it, people. None of this, they've had election board hearings since I filed this complaint. This should have been heard 3 months ago.
It should have been heard in August. It could have been heard in September.
They've held other election hearings.
Yeah.
They've chosen to ignore this. And then they did one in November where they didn't even tell the public.
There's no, well, they don't want the public there. They didn't
want to hear my case.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. You are clearly in, you filed a complaint on what he did this year, right?
Oh, it includes this year. Yeah. It includes
okay. So there's nothing they can do. You are well within it. Listen, they're screwed. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They are going to do the right thing. Okay. Here's what they're going to work over the next month. Let me tell you how this is going to work. There are 3 different paths that this could go down. Path 1. They can come back in on January 15th, and they're going to be like, you know what? You're right. He's wrong. We're going to write it up and send it on, and they're just going to get it out of their hair, and they're going to hope that they've pulled enough strings behind the scenes in this next month that they're going to be talking to the prosecutor, and they're going to be doing that, and they're going to be like, oh, well, I can't do it. We need a special prosecutor, and then he's going to lean on a friend. Hey, I need you to take care of this. And they're going to go there, and it's going to go into the same investigative file that Joe's Wax went into. And it's going to be whatever. So it's a felony. So with most felonies, your the statute of limitations to file it is 5 years. So from the time that the felony was done and from the time they found out about it this year, so let's just say you filed in August of this year, and you said that he committed it sometime in April or whatever. So April of 2024, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So they'll just wait on it until April of 2029. Nothing will happen. You'll be bitching. I'll be bitching. We'll be bitching, but they can, if they can, we'll see if they can wait us down, and nothing will happen. That's track 1. Track number 2 is they're going to come in and they're going to say, well, he did something wrong, but he's never going to do it again, and whatever, and they're going to rule, and then they're going to think it's out of their hair. Then you have to appeal, like you said that you would do, and if you do, and when you do, it's not going to matter what they do. It's just going to be in someone else's hands, and they're going to slap him because he is in the wrong here. There is no way, no excuse. The only way that he gets out of this is if someone says, look, you screwed up, admit you screwed up, and we're going to give you a pass. You're going to promise to never do it again, which I could see them doing that, which is bullshit, but that could happen. Now, do I think Russ is going to prison for this? No, but I don't see them charging him. I don't see anyone charging him because it's just the same bullshit.
No, but they might make him pay.
I think
it's a $10,000 per incident possible fine on it.
I think he's going to get charged.
Well,
there's somebody on this thread, if they're still watching, who could be a tiebreaker. I think he's going to get charged.
Who's going to charge him?
Faith.
Who's going to charge him?
Listen.
Who's going to charge him criminally?
I want everybody to listen to me and listen to me very closely.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney's done. Rodney Cummings is getting ready to announce he is done.
Yep.
Okay. He is going to step down, and they're going to put Andrew Hanna in his position.
Okay.
The reason why they're going to put Andrew Hanna in that position is because he's now going to be an incumbent.
Yep.
They think that
Sure.
because that seat's up in 26.
Mhm.
They think you can't beat an incumbent. So they're going to
Mhm.
put Andrew Hanna in there. Okay. If Andrew Hanna does not do something with Russ Willis, he cannot lead this county. Somebody has to run against him and he will get beat. Andrew Hanna will get beat because it will be all over that Andrew Hanna doesn't have it within him to hold this political Republican Party accountable. I'm telling you right now, the timing is everything and it is here. If they
So
put Andrew
you're saying that they're not even going to call a special prosecutor, that the prosecutor in Madison County is going to charge him.
No, I'm not saying that. They're going to get a special prosecutor. I'm sure of it. But if this doesn't go through, Andrew Hanna is going to be on the chopping block. Andrew Hanna is going to be on the chopping block because it's going to show you that he has no bearing. Listen, people are already mad with Andrew Hanna that he came out with that whole packet of disorderly conduct in meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
Andrew Hanna is
Andrew Hanna's got to get off this
worthless.
coattail and cut that cord
Yeah.
and fight his own fight to become the prosecutor, or he's going to stay on that coattail and he's going to go right down in that quicksand with all these other people. Andrew's going to have to decide for himself.
Yeah.
If he's going to make a name for himself, because at this point, there's a lot of people pissed off at Rodney Cummings too.
Oh,
so
sure.
he's banking on it from Rodney's standpoint. You better be really careful who you're attaching your name to.
I think that the best bet you guys have to get rid of Russ Willis is through the precinct chair, through the vote, through the precinct committee people.
I think he'll be gone before March. I think he will be out of that seat before we get to the precinct.
Because he resigns. I'll say he could resign.
No. He doesn't resign. He gets charged and he has to give it up.
Well, he doesn't have to give it up just because he gets charged.
Well, here's the thing. Like I told I've and Sean and I we have talked quite a bit.
Yeah.
And like I told Sean, he's on the right track, right? They got all these precincts. That's a great backup plan, right?
Yeah.
But I don't care. I want him gone before March, right? So I could, yes, I'm glad that all these PCs are going to be in there. But if we can hit them with a double whammy, why not?
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Why wait for March? Let's see if we can get something done now. And Sean's like, you're right. Let's see what we can do. We know how corrupt this whole county is, but it's certainly not making him more palatable. And here's the thing: these people who are still riding and they're a ride and die with Russ Willis. These PCs, they are ride and die with Russ Willis. Well, I'm telling you, there's got to be a couple of them that we're now placing doubt in. And some of those ride and dies might actually flip and say, we're not going to vote for Russ if he runs again. That's the whole thing. I mean, we've got to get him out one way or the other. I would prefer that he has a felon. That's what I would prefer.
I don't know. We'll have to look at the rules of the party because he's not an elected official. I don't know that the same.
Well, I mean, the president is in his seat.
Well, because federal, you can have a felony and run for federal office. You could have a felony and run for a senator. You just can't have a felony and run for state or local office. But I don't know that a felony precludes him from being the chair. I don't know that does. It might. Maybe the party rules state that. I'd have to look. But it's different than the actual elected officials. That being said, I want him to have it. I wish he would have that. If this was Delaware County, I think the prosecutor over here would charge him. I think the prosecutor in Delaware County would charge him no problem. Because it's an open and shut situation. He did wrong, and he did wrong.
He's
There's just no way.
doing it for decades.
Yep.
He admits he's been doing it for decades.
Yep.
And if somebody had a problem with it, they should have said something to it.
They should have said it years ago.
let me tell you something. if you murder someone
Yeah.
and you come out, you murdered him in 99.
Yeah.
I found it.
Then we find out that, you're a murderer. I mean, do we just say,
they
oh,
don't
well,
let it pass.
you just let it pass? It
Oh,
happened in
nobody
99.
knew. Nobody knew back in 99 I killed those people.
Nobody has said anything since 99.
What'd you say, Kate?
So the Indiana GOP party rules says Rule 137, felony conviction. Upon conviction of a felony, a person's membership in all Republican Party committees or conventions immediately terminates without need for further action, and the person's name shall be removed from the organization list upon the appropriate committee secretary's confirmation of the conviction. Person who has been convicted of a felony and has been removed from the organization may rejoin the party upon release from lawful custody, completion of probation, parole, or expungement, and upon then registering to vote.
Now, see, Rodney Cummings here is big on expungement, so they can do all kinds of things.
Well, yeah, but he would have to at least have a 5-year period before expungement could happen. So, that would be essentially the end of Russ Willis.
Yeah. So
that would be.
I'm just saying, there's so much more going on in Madison County right now. Nicole's been doing a lot of digging. She's found a lot of issues going on too that probably really need to be addressed at some point. She's got 5 more complaints. I think the election board is going to start seeing more people file some complaints, which is a great thing. I hope that we've empowered people to do things, but I think Russ is going to get charged. I just, and it's a shame that they have kicked this can down the road like they have, but we will have to just wait and see. But people ask, what can you do? Share this podcast, share Madison County Government Accountability, share posts. That is the best thing you can do, is inform the people.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, it helps for the message. If you can't go to meetings, if they're during the day when you work, or if you're busy during the night, and I understand, man. This seems like headache. This really is probably some of the most important shit. Honestly, people don't look at it that way. Local government affects so much of what you do. People that are going crazy about Trump and going crazy about Biden and going crazy about the drones and all this shit. Really, local government, state government affects your life far more than any of that federal shit. I'm a federal news junkie. I love it. I get it. But local is where it's at. State is where it's at. It affects your life. And I know that, people, you've got soccer games, and I know that you've got, single mom deal and divorced dad situation, and you're caring for your parents, and, you've got 5 kids and another one with a baby mama on the side. I get it, but you need to find a way to get involved, to be involved, to network with people, share stuff. Get in with the Facebook groups, listen to local podcasts and stuff like this. If you don't like mine, like I said, check out Madison County accountability page. Or what is it? I always say it wrong.
Madison County Government Accountability Page. We call it MGAP, right?
Okay.
MCGAP. And like Jason Shields says, once he's exposed, he's the type of personality who will tattle on others and expose them to save his own rear end. Well, absolutely. I got news for you. There's several of them that do that. They've been loyal to a point, but I'm starting to think that now they actually see the fire is burning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's burning pretty fast.
Before we go, I think that you've got a Christmas present for all of the
Christmas present on behalf of Sean Smith, Jamie Lynn, Kristopher Bilbrey, Kate, and myself. This is a Christmas present for you.
That really for all of the. It's for who is this for? This is for like Jamie. It's for
all the children who are out there, especially those in Madison County.
But basically anywhere in the world. I mean, this is really.
Yep. And this is a gift that will go well past Christmas.
Yeah.
That we hope, but we thought that we would put our monies where our mouth is. And this is what we're willing to do to help your family and children everywhere.
I'm going to put this up on the screen, and then I'm going to send it to Katherine. And this is just, I kind of made this for Christmas, and it doesn't really look Christmas. It's just the writing. It's red and green. But I'm going to make, because I literally was making this while we were talking and stuff, so it's not as good as I would do. I will make a better image, but we can share this, and we can just share all this. And this is for real. But there's it's a present with a little caveat, and you'll quickly see what this is. But here it is. We're gonna put it up on the screen here. This is for anybody and everybody out there watching this. Lenny could get this. This could be for Lenny if he can do what needs to be done here. This is the present.
And this is because the people matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has never been about me winning an election.
Yeah,
it's people definitely about people. Better.
Here we go. This says, what does it say? Christmas present to the children of Madison County. Katherine Callahan is offering an award of, you heard that right, $25,000 for information leading to the arrest of Stephen Sumner. To report information on the location of Stephen Sumner, call your local 911, the Madison County Sheriff's Department at 765-642-0221, and or the political spotlight at 765-546-9796. Now, I want to put this in there, and I want you guys to understand what's happening here. If you're in Madison County and you know where this guy is, and you pick up the horn and you call 911, they don't know anything about this $25,000 reward. I don't know if there's some other kind of award. This is only pertaining to what we've got going on. If there's some other award out there, you could be eligible for it too. But this is not just like you're going to call and get $25,000. The dude's got to be put in custody. Now, some things say like leading to the arrest and conviction of, I don't know. I've not talked to the rest of them. We just want to know where he's at. We get him here, let everything else fall where it may, where it does. But right now he is a ghost in the wind, and we need to bring this turd in. But call, if you're in Madison County, you can call Madison County and never involve us. But if you want the reward or the award, you're going to have to get a hold of Katherine, myself, or whoever else she wobbled off and named there. You're going to have to get a hold of somebody. If you say, hey, I know where he's at, but I do not want to be involved. I don't want to contact the police. I don't want to be involved. Pick up that phone and dial my number. It's 765-546-9796. Tell me where he's at. We'll take your information, and I will make sure that the police get him and do what they got to do, and we'll do that. If you happen to be just driving through Utah and you're from Florida and he's there, dial 911. It's not going to connect you to your home in Florida. It's also not going to connect you to Madison County. It's going to connect you to wherever you are in Utah. Tell the police that you know where a wanted fugitive is. Tell them the name of the individual. Tell them where he is wanted from. He's wanted from Madison County, Indiana, and tell them that he's wanted on up to 13 felony charges. Well,
it's
actually,
18.
Okay. What I had was 13 with 2 misdemeanors. Rape when compelled by force or imminent threat of force, possession of child pornography, 2 counts, child seduction, 6 counts, sexual battery, sexual misconduct with a minor. I think maybe I got that wrong. A couple counts, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, 2 counts. So I don't know. There's more counts there than what any human actually needs. It's gross. It's sick. This guy is pure, complete shit. And we need to get him captured and in jail. But if you know information about where this guy is at, contact somebody and let people know. But if you want to do it and you want the reward, the award, whatever you want to call it, you're going to have to get a hold of me. You're going to have to get a hold of Katherine or somebody and see what we can do. But that's there. And so this is like a Christmas present to everybody in the world, specifically the children, the families of Madison County and Jamie and her family. So this is a pretty big deal. And there that is. So I will get a better graphic and get it out to Katherine and we'll get this shared everywhere. But this is a pretty big deal.
So
Pretty big deal.
I just hope that this does something. This is something the prosecutor should be doing. This is something that Madison County should be doing. This is something the Republican Party should be doing.
They all they want to do is they want to give him $10,000.
Yes.
They're not going to offer money to get him caught.
But he holds the key
Yeah.
to a lot of answers.
A real tiny little key, apparently.
And that's why he has vanished.
Yeah.
Nobody makes somebody vanish other than the mafia.
I wonder if they've done him in.
No, I think he's.
You know what? Steve Sumner, listen, if you want that $25,000, call me, Steve, and I'll come pick you up and we'll turn you into jail. And for Steve, how about this? You don't get $25,000 because you're a piece of shit, but we'll give you like $50. You turn yourself in, Steve, and we'll give you $50. If I was Steve, I'd turn myself
Steve,
in.
If you turn yourself in, I'll give that to Jamie Lynn.
Oh, hey, that's a good deal.
No, I will. I'll give the money if he turns himself in. I'll give the money to Jamie Lynn.
What an amazing thing! Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. That's perfect. I think that is a way that he could be like, I want to try to remotely even kind of start to do the right thing. If I was him, I would want to get in and off the street because I'd be afraid that all these people are going to be scared that he's going to get caught and they are going to try to whack me or something. That's a weird thought.
Yeah. So since the other political people who know where probably he is can't seem to do the right thing, I'm going to try to do the right thing, but he has to be put in jail in order for you to actually get this money.
Yeah, it has to. This is a little less strict than some of the others. Like I said, this is just leading to the arrest of, but the arrest of mean he has to be in custody. I would go as far as saying he's got to be in custody in Madison County. He needs to be in custody in Madison County. And that money's yours.
And Sean's right. He's still alive because if he wasn't, the girlfriend would come back. She's got family.
Who's his girlfriend?
He ran off with some hoochie. I don't know.
I'm not saying he offed himself. I'm saying powers that be that are afraid that if he gets caught, that he might tell things. Maybe
that's who's hiding him. And people believe they've got him so hidden that he won't be found. And you know what? I'm not saying that the prosecutor has anything to do with this, and I'm not saying they do have something.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They have no bond on him. They're not moving on this. I don't know. Maybe the state will make an exception if I get him found that I can be the person who runs for prosecutor in 26. I don't know.
But you got to go get your law degree.
And here's the thing, people, if you think I just have this money laying around or my children can't benefit from this, they absolutely can.
Well, yeah, right.
But at this point, this is such an injustice to Jamie Lynn and all these children. And here's the thing, if he has harmed one child, since he's been on the run,
yes,
everybody who has given him money and how this should be held accountable for aiding and abetting this man.
You know how often stuff like that we find out years later, shit like that's happened. Someone's escaped or been on the run, and during all that time, or someone's been locked up, and they've been the wrong person locked up, and the guilty person's been out committing all these crimes. like we don't know who this guy is violating currently, and that is a real big problem.
But I'm telling you, he has a lot of the hidden skeletons in Madison County. I'm telling you, I feel it with everything in my bones. And the only way through this, people, is to either put up or shut up.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're going to keep exposing what we can. I hope that if Madison County Government Accountability, once we refine this thing by the morning, they get that up there. People get on there and share that post too. I'd like to see that go viral as a Christmas present for Jamie Lynn. And then I think what we should do is, as the seasons change or the holidays change, then we'll say an Easter present.
Yeah.
And we'll see how many seasons have to go through
Yeah.
before we find him. Now, my hope is that he will be found before Valentine's Day with this kind of promotion.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to do that. I don't even think he's on Madison County's top 10 most wanted.
He wasn't here as of recent.
Yeah. And that's how this is a huge problem, that we're letting him just, I don't know, just out there in the wind doing, I have no idea what. So I don't know if we're going to find him or not, but I'm going to tell you something. We're going to try like hell to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, and I do believe that what Jason Shields saying, that there's a small ring involved. Oh, I have a strange feeling we're going to be not surprised, but surprised at who's all involved when we bring Steve Sumner home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just kind of want you guys to think about that, and we'll hopefully, you know, I don't know, but I'm going to have faith that we can bring him home, and that $25,000 will mean something to someone.
Sure.
And we'll do that. I'm so sick of watching politicians run around raising money. We try to GoFundMe page, but clearly no one's really interested in helping find Steve Sumner. So, but I'm willing to start somewhere.
Well, very good. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything, as always. And thank you to everyone that's been watching or will watch. And, you know, the powerful thing about these is across all of our platforms in about a 48-hour window, we get massive views. So it's very important. I appreciate everyone that shares the show in the audio formats and shares the show on all the other links and watches and things like that. We are getting a good watch base on Rumble. I appreciate that. We're starting to build. I'm starting to learn more things on Rumble to do to kind of help spread the word there. And we're getting some things. YouTube is starting to open stuff up. We just got a thing here recently that said that we've made some kind of something happen. Something good happened, I guess. We crossed the Rubicon. Something happened. I don't know what happened.
50,000 watch hours.
It was more than that, wasn't it? Was that all?
50,000.
Good night, Alva. Well,
what was going on? But yeah, it was.
I'd like to say that I brought some of those viewers to you.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
But
yeah,
you know, what we are going to start doing in January is we'll just start putting all the meetings through the political spotlight and switching everybody over all together as the new year. We'll just do it through StreamYard when I go to the county meetings.
I need to get with you and show you how to do that, and it will be easier for you to see because there's just been when I need to get with you when there's not a meeting and we can like play around with the phone. I can show you the best way to do it. But yeah, we'll figure that out because there's a way that you can do it and still be active and still comment on YouTube and still see all of that, because everything on mine goes to Facebook. Like last night you were on Facebook. You saw how that was. So they can still interact on Facebook, but yeah, there's a way to do it.
Yeah. And so we'll just make it from there. And then if you've got a free show next week, we'll get on. We've got more about Madison County going on, and we can
always.
All right. Well, if you need anything, let me know.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks for having us. And for those who have not watched that whole show, watch it till the end. It's a very interesting show to watch.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
From earlier today. Mark your calendar for January 15th at 1 o'clock. It's a Wednesday. That's when we'll go back and see what their final decision is. So think about that for January 15th at 1 o'clock. I'd love to have more people come out and support. It was great to see a lot of people out there today. Jamie Lynn came out, Kevin Fentner came out. So there were a lot of great people out there.
Was he really there?
Dave Sargent came out. Yeah, there were lots of great people in the audience. So I hope to see many now that we have a little bit more lead time for January 15th.
January 15th at what time?
1:00.
Okay. Well, that's we will definitely keep that posted, and we'll have you on obviously before then. But all right, folks. All right, Catherine. I'll see you in just 1 second.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. It has been another amazing show. Do want to remind you all to tune in Thursday night. That's tomorrow for episode 353 for the Dustin Clark Contract Breakdown. That's the Dustin Clark Contract Breakdown. We have a lot to talk about concerning that idiot, and I will post it, let you see it. You can touch the contract. You can play with it. You can look at it. You can smell it. And we'll talk about all the craziness there. There's a lot going on. I have also some other record request information pertaining to some city council stuff and some things that have been going on, and the MRC meeting. Matter of fact, the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meets tomorrow. Should be kind of interesting to see how Andrew Dale and Jeff Howell interact, because Andrew Dale went to the last meeting, and then Jeff Howell sent a letter. We've got that email. We've got everything that's going on. So tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow will be another big show. You'll want to tune in and see all that. So you guys take care. Have a great Thursday morning. Have a wonderful day, and then be sure to tune in here tomorrow to enjoy your evening with us. As always, please hit that like button, give us a finger, give us a thumb, subscribe if you haven't, do all that stuff. You can contact us right there. We're on all of the socials right there. You can find us very easy. And other than that, we will see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care. God bless. Good evening. Good night. Good luck. Good whatever. And goodbye.